You know what, guys? Deep down, the world is a very balanced place. Now, we can say this in relation to the way that the universe works. We can say this in relation to the way that particles work and things balance and gravity, the concept of equal and opposite forces. But when it comes to our own lives, we don't seem to equate the same logic, and I feel like this leads to people missing out on opportunities and understanding opportunities, because it's not all about what you gain, it's about what you learn. I feel like it leads to people missing out on these opportunities when in reality they could have a great opportunity themselves to actually capitalize upon this, learn something, and understand this, and struggles in general is a necessary evil on the way to where they're going. Now, we're in the car today, guys, as I'm sure you can obviously tell. I try and film these videos every single day, so sometimes we're in a good place, sometimes we're not. This one is just as I'm coming back from doing the shopping. But again, like I say, I like to produce something every day for you, so obviously this is where we are for today. Now, getting on to today's topic and what's led me to actually make this video. Similar to a lot of the topics that we cover here, similar to a lot of the videos that I like to make, I like to try and reflect on the things that I've learnt in the hopes of potentially helping you guys. And as young people, as people in general, we don't seem to often understand the way that the world actually balances. Every single time that a bad thing happens to us, we drop a why me, why has this happened to me, why is this my set of circumstances, why is this my situation? But an approach that I increasingly take seriously is a approach of 100% accountability. Now, on the surface of it, this seems completely asinine and completely useless. But at the same time, whilst it may seem somewhat stupid, it allows me to have complete control in everything. So let's say, for example, I'm trying to think of a good example. Let's say, for example, and I don't want to chance it, so I'm not going to say what I was about to say, because I was about to say something, and I don't want to chance this in my own life. But let's say, for example, I lose my job, right? Now, that might not be my fault. Actually, ostensibly, it's not my fault at all, really, right? If the company's doing layoffs and it just happens to be the case, it's just one of those things. But then think about it on a level of depth, or that's what I try and do. Why did I lose this job? Is it just because the company is laying off? Well, why did they choose to lay me off? Am I one of the weaker workers? Do I not add much value to the company? Do I not? And you do this, guys, and it allows you to take a lot more accountability for it. And I feel like this is why a lot of people never end up achieving what they're trying to achieve, because they don't understand that everything is truly in their control. Again, on the surface of it, it is not. But then the question, again, in relation to the job, could you have worked at a more stable company? Could you have been looking for different jobs, before the layoffs were coming? Did you see the statistics and the company's income getting worse and worse? That's just one example, so I don't know how applicable it is to the overall topic. But like I say, we all want these lives of comfort, and I think that's a natural thing. We all want these lives of happiness, and we all want these lives of achievement. Now, if you've been watching the recent videos, we've been speaking about the fact that achievement is a very subjective thing. I think a lot of people like to define this in black and white terms, which generally, in my opinion, is a pretty dumb thing to do. One person's idea of achievement is the other person's idea of failure, so on and so forth. And if we all have the same ideas, it's not going to end well, basically. But at the same time, guys, in terms of desires, in terms of achievements, in terms of goals, they are dreams for a reason. They are goals for a reason. And the brutal simplicity of it is in human nature, we don't appreciate the things that we get easily. This is just true, right? It's the age-old saying of you don't realize what you had until it's gone. This is a commonly known saying, right? And tying this into what we're speaking about here, about equal and opposite forces, because this might sound, I don't know, guys, I feel like a lot of my videos now sound a bit more like an abstract concept, but at the same time I feel like it's resonating with more and more of you, because I feel like we're all on this sort of message, this understanding of what this actually means. So yeah, there's going to be some people that don't understand this, but if you're getting this, I hope it does make sense. So the question then becomes, what do you want and what do you have to do to get it? And what I'm trying to say here is people, in a lot of instances, seem to expect that there's not going to be a major sacrifice to anything that you do. And in most circumstances, my opinion, my argument would be that there probably is. So like I said in a video that I made the other day, I don't have a job because I run my own businesses. This is what I do full time. That might sound like the dream, and a lot of people would aspire to this. But again, equal and opposite forces. I get all my free time, but what does it mean? It means that I have to stress a bit more about financial security because for a large part, guys, I just don't have it, right? I don't have a set paycheck. I have to motivate myself. I have to file my own taxes and all of these sorts of things. You know, you've got, like I say, the instability that comes with business. And also, because of all of that, you may want to have cheaper living costs, which means that I might live in a cheaper place, for example. So these are the costs to the massive benefit. And I feel like me opening up about this in relation to my journey will hopefully allow you guys to have the same level of analysis to hopefully boost you on your journey. Because like I say, if there's a goal that you want, you will probably have to sacrifice for it. Let's just say some common ones that people aspire to, right? You want to have a good physical condition and a good body. You're probably going to have to sacrifice eating the things that you like. You're probably going to have to sacrifice a portion of your time to get into the gym. You may have to sacrifice some of your time researching so you can get the optimal diet and health regime, right? You want to have a nice car? Well, you may have to work more. You may have to create a new business idea and deal with the stresses that come with that. But in this modern social media world, the main issue that I see is that people don't come on here and speak about this. You don't get people really talking about the difficulties of what they do and the failures that they face and the challenges and drawbacks that comes with their specific lifestyle. No one wants to do that because it's not good for marketing. You know, guys, I think you understand what I mean. If I want to sell you a product, in reality, in terms of marketing that product, it makes a lot more sense for me to be sat in a Lamborghini in Dubai right now. But at the same time, I would know that that's not necessarily genuine for me right now. And I know what's genuine is what I'm speaking about here. Now, tying this all back together, because even 7 minutes in, it might sound like I've not really said the main point, and that's because I'm trying to explain the context of what I'm speaking about. The main point is this. In the next year, and yes, guys, we are going into 2026, I remember actually at the start of 2025 being sat in this car park in almost this exact place, having a similar discussion on a different topic, right? But in this upcoming year, bad things will happen. Bad things will happen to me. Bad things will happen to you. I'll give you the example of this. 2025, in my opinion, has been the best year of my life. I'd probably have to say that. I've met so many new people. I've literally traveled the world by myself. I've started new businesses and had my mind open to different things. But number one, how did I get there? Well, it came with difficulty, right? It came with realizing that I needed to get a job at the late part of last year and the stresses that come with that, and working the job and the depression that comes with that, and trying to rebuild my business, so on and so forth. All of these different things led to the ultimate success of, well, really unlocking the best year of my life. And tying this into you guys in 2026, and even me in 2026, you're going to face more issues. This is not a bad thing, though. And again, this is where things get interesting, because you might as well embrace it. And this has really changed my approach to everything. And this might sound crazy, but let me explain, guys. So something bad happens, right? My car breaks down, my sales dip in my business, right? So on and so forth. I could obviously sit there and lament about it and say how bad it is. But over the last couple of years, I've realized all of these things that have happened in the past are all learning experiences, and they all happen for a reason. So what I'm trying to say here is, instead of looking for the why me, why has it happened to me, why is this my punishment? Maybe it's not a punishment. Maybe it seems like a punishment now, but maybe it's actually one of the biggest rewards that you could have ever been graced with. Maybe this is going to give you the hardship, the determination, the work ethic, the enlightenment, right? I don't know what it is, it depends on your circumstances, but maybe this is going to give you the resources that you need and that you don't currently have to change your life in a manner where you are actually the sort of person who you aspire to be. Because I really think so many people try and only optimize for the good. And that's great in good times, but there's going to be times where difficulty does rear its head. This is just the case. And I feel like, guys, if you adopt this mindset, and if you truly understand what I'm saying here, in 2026, when bad things inevitably do happen, you're not going to sit there perhaps miserable and upset about it, but you are going to have that opportunity instead to say, okay, this is the way things are for now. That's okay. It's not great, but there's a reason for this. This is happening to me for a reason. I will learn from it, and over the course of a few years going forwards, I'll probably be glad that it happened. And if you're able to adopt this logic, if you're able to truly understand what I'm saying to you right now, you'll get to a point of, I don't even know how to describe it, guys. You get to a point of, I don't want to say like not caring about life, but instead of being shaken by all of the turbulences that inevitably do come with life, you'll instead get to a point where, you know, you happen to life and you happen to life in the way that you want to, because you understand that inevitably there is going to be some stress, there's going to be some difficulty that comes on this journey, and you're going to understand that this is just part of it, and you'll be able to embrace and to a degree even enjoy the struggles more, rather than just seeing it as a negative thing. Because here's the thing, and this is my concluding point on this, there's two life spirals, and I don't think people understand one of them. We talk about the negative life spiral, you know, let's say for example, you lose your job, so you're miserable, so you don't go out, so your friends don't contact you, so you lose your girlfriend because she doesn't want to hear your misery, and then you lose your car because you got no money, then you lose your house, and that's a negative spiral. But you know what's actually funny? And something that a lot of people, in fact most people, never even understand, let alone discuss. The same can happen in inverse. You can be in a positive spiral, where you land this job so you get more confidence, so you speak to people, so you make new friends, so you end up dating someone, so you end up, you know, being more happy, so you end up thinking about getting a place and a car. And the same can happen in inverse, right? The same can absolutely happen in inverse. But as I say, no one likes to discuss this in inverse because, well, I think the reasoning is because I just don't think people understand it really at all. I don't think people understand this, and I want to make a separate video on this, and I'm going to do this after this, but that's all I've got to say on this specific topic, guys.